Gather round, gather round. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the center of the stage, where I'd like to introduce to you the one, the only, the incomparable.
And welcome to Austin James Unleashed. I am Austin James, and remember to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends and neighbors, wake the kids, phone the family, whatever. Because Austin James Unleashed is unleashed. We're here at Casa Maria in Watson. Beautiful place, great place to have dinner. This podcast is sponsored by Go Roof. And with us, we have, let me see if I get this right.
Yeah, get the name right.
Chase Tyler.
That's what they call me.
How you doing,
What's
sir?
up, buddy? Thank you for
All
having me.
right, Chase is an old friend, and he is here and seems like a cast of thousands here at Casa Maria. And Chase, thank you for inviting us.
Yes, hey, thank you for coming.
And letting us know about what's going on in your life in Denham Springs. But first off, what's with the hat? I love it.
So, this is, okay, so we did a show with the Cajun Navy a couple of years ago, and they gave me a hat and asked me, if we give you a hat, will you wear it on stage? Obviously, and I've been wearing it a lot since. It's just a great representation of what they have going on, and we love it. It's very cool.
You're from this area.
I'm from Denham Springs, born and raised, very proud. Yes.
Now, tell us about growing up here in this great town.
So, okay, I was born and raised right here in Denham, and there is Livingston Parish, for those of you that don't understand Louisiana parishes, but Livingston Parish sometimes gets a bad rap, and I understand that because I'm from here, so I can talk bad about these people. I never do. I never talk bad about anybody, but if you understand it, there's really, really good, wholesome, great, hardworking people of this parish. I've always been a huge supporter of Livingston Parish and the jobs and the community itself and everything that it's given me back. I've tried to just try to represent Livingston Parish the best I can as a musician and move forward. But man, I love this town. It's such a great place to grow up, raise a family. It's outskirts of Baton Rouge, so it still has the ties to the big city, but you're out of that big city madness, and it's on the outskirts, and I just love it here.
And you went to school here.
I went to school here for a period of time. Yes.
What does that mean?
So at a certain everybody loves this story. Do you want me to get into depth? I'll tell you. I'll tell you the story. At a certain point,
we're unleashed, man. It's time to unleash you as well.
I'll tell you, because a lot of people like hearing this story because it's very cool. When I was 17 years old, I don't know how deep we can get into. I was smoking pot somewhere I should not have been doing that. Okay. On school grounds, unfortunately. 17 years old, me and a couple of buddies in a car doing what we were not supposed to be doing. I ended up getting arrested that day. It was a huge deal. They shut the school down, brought in the drug dogs, arrested me. It was a very, very terrible time in my life, okay? I had to go through all of that, the embarrassment for my family, but in doing so, of course, I got kicked out of school and had to literally start over, not knowing anything what I was going to do with my life. I found music and I started singing and really got deep into playing and doing shows. I got so much into where I did an audition for a show in Branson, Missouri. So at 17, about 2 months after I was kicked out of school, not knowing where my life was going to go, I moved to Branson, Missouri, and was in a stage show for about 3 years.
So you weren't involved in music prior to being 17?
My mom and dad had a band growing up when I was a kid. So it was around on both sides of my family. It was just in my life. It was in the house. We sang, we played, we went to shows, we did everything. But I didn't really do anything musically. Karaoke here and there, that kind of thing. But it was just around my life ever since I was a kid. So
now, of course, we don't advocate people smoking pot on school grounds. So don't do that, okay? Please.
I went
to parochial school, and we couldn't even chew gum on the school grounds.
It led me to where what I've gotten to do in my life. And I look back on it, it was a very difficult time. I ended my school career in the 10th grade, and it was very difficult at the time, but I would not be who I am today had that not have happened. It led me down a different path. If I would have stayed on that path, and the people that I hung out with at that time would be a different story today. So
Probably
everything
be in
happens for a
jail.
reason. I'd probably be in jail. Absolutely, I would be in jail. No doubt about it. I'd be one of the biggest drug dealers that Livingston Parish has ever seen.
Oh, no,
But I
that's-
didn't. I
That's
didn't.
all. I'm glad things changed for you. So you went up
Music
to Branson.
saved me. I went up to Branson.
Music saved you.
Music
You went
saved
up
my
to
life, yeah.
Branson,
Yeah.
and then
So stage show in Branson for a few years. And Branson, what I tell people, was my formal college training. I didn't go to college. I didn't finish high school. I learned how to work the stage and how to sing and play guitar and, entertain. And that was a huge defining moment for me. And I thank Branson, Missouri for everything. I was in several different shows with Mo Bandy, Joe Stampley.
Oh, love those
It
guys.
was amazing. And I got to watch those guys every night in their show and what they do. Such a cool time in my life. And I was, 17 years old. I lived in Branson, Missouri. I had my own condo. I was making my own money. I did, matinee shows. I did night shows. It was the best learning experience for a musician you could ever have, in my personal, opinion. Ultimately, I wasn't able to do my own music. I wasn't able to wear my own clothes. It was a stage show, so I had to do what they wanted to do. So I wanted to do my own thing. The next move for me ultimately was Nashville. Unfortunately, monetarily, as no one told me, and I found out later, that's very, very a difficult move. So before Nashville, before I left Branson, Missouri, someone got in contact with me and wanted me to go to audition for another show in New York. Completely opposite of what I know from South Louisiana. I did. I auditioned. Naturally, I got the part. So I spent 8 months in upstate New York, off-Broadway plays, and another amazing learning experience for me.
what was the part?
I was Elwood Blues in the Blues Brothers.
Oh, that's
You
right.
ever
I remember
seen
you
the
telling me
Blues
that.
Brothers?
Yeah.
I grew my sideburns way down here. I had the sunglasses. I had all the moves
Who
down.
played Jake?
There was a friend of mine also from Branson, and what the funny thing about this, and no one knew, he had a full body tattoo from here down. His back, every part of him was tattooed, but we wore suits on stage, and no one knew. And he was a completely different person when he took the suit off, because he's a biker and this and that, but he played Jake amazingly. And then we'd had Elwood, we had the band, we had it was a great experience. I was in upstate New York doing, shows every day, and another completely different experience from South Louisiana music and the culture that I know here. New York was great though. I love New York people. They're amazing. Again though, not my music.
Did you have a half a pack of cigarettes, full tank of gas, and wearing sunglasses at night?
Oh, I love
Blues
it.
Brothers is one of my favorite movies. By the way.
We
Fantastic.
watched it. So for rehearsal, a part of our job was to watch that movie and learn the characters and what they did and their mannerisms. And somewhere out there's videos of me doing cartwheels across the stage as Elwood Blues. I'm sure you
So
can
there
find
wasn't a
something.
crazy woman out there, the character that Carrie Fisher played,
No,
was trying to shoot you with a gun.
At that point, I was about 20 years old in my life. There was a lot of crazy women out there in my life at that point in time, but that's a whole nother story. But it was a blast. New York was so much fun and
Where did
a
you
great
live
experience.
in New York?
They actually put us up in a cabin. It was Queensbury, New York. So it was upstate New York, and upstate is gorgeous. When
Yeah.
people say New York, upstate is gorgeous. Rolling hills, the whole 9 yards, far away from the city. And we were in a Six Flags theme park. There was a theater in the Six Flags theme park with a big water park on the back of it. So I spent 6 months at a theme park with a water park. We did 6 shows a day. They were 20-minute shows. We did them in 20-minute intervals, and then we would have about an hour and a half in between each shows. We'd change into regular clothes, hit the water park, do our whole thing, and then come back, be Elwood Blues again.
Were you paid well for that?
We paid very well. That's what shocked me. At 20 years old, I had my own place.
How much were you
I had
making?
$800 a week at the time. For
Wow.
a 20-year-old, that had, and they paid us to, they flew us out there, put us up. The only thing that I really had to pay for was my food. Any kind of, New York gets expensive. Okay. That's one thing I will say. New York gets expensive, but as far as the experience, it was just never better. I met so many great people I still talk to today. And, I'd have people come up to me and go, just say something. just say anything, because they're New Yorkers. I'm from South Louisiana, they didn't understand, and I cooked gumbo for them. They didn't get the accent. I cooked gumbo for them. It was a whole nother world for them. It was very cool for me to get to interact with those guys as well. Another great experience, but I was still a blues brother. I wasn't Chase Tyler. Right. I wanted my own music. I'm writing songs, when we're in our downtime, and I'm having a good time trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm 20 years old, trying to figure, music out. The next move for me, I made some good money in New York, right? The next move for me is Nashville. that's the next logical step. I'm 20 years old. If I'm going to do it, now's the time. I moved to Nashville from New York. I came home for about 2 weeks. Told my mom, this is what I want to do. It's music. It's I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to be the next big thing. I spent a year in Nashville. I got my bartender's license. So I am a licensed libations mixologist. And I actually have a diploma.
It's very famous.
It's very famous. A lot of people don't realize I have a diploma at home that has my name on it, and it says registered libations mixologist. And it took me forever to learn how to actually say that and mean it without a funny face. But it's something I was very proud of at the time. I was a bartender at Logan's Roadhouse while I lived in Nashville, trying to make ends meet, right? I met a lot of very famous musicians that would come in. I was right outside of Nashville in Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Like who? Who did you meet?
Oh my gosh! So I met Aaron Tippin. I met at the time, remind me of the guy, and you've played his song a gazillion times. It was very famous at the time. It came out. Little Bear was his son's name. Oh my gosh.
Little Bear.
I called it Little Bear. What was his son's name?
Jeez. I don't know. I'd have to research that.
Oh, no, if I said it, you'd be like, oh.
It's hurricane season, and Go Roof wants to make sure you're prepared for the next storm.
Charge batteries so you can stay informed about weather conditions.
Be proactive by trimming and removing damaged trees and limbs.
Secure loose items around your house.
Check your insurance coverage to make sure you are covered for any potential damage.
Fuel up your vehicles, generators, and gas cans. Also, remember that stored gas is usually only good for around 6 months.
After the storm, call Go Roof for a free no-obligation roof inspection. And be safe this hurricane season.
Oh, what a sweetheart, Fahim.
Fahim, all right,
Thank you so
man.
much, buddy. Casa Maria legend. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
You the man, bro.
Wow, what a break to take.
All right, cheers. Finish
Cheers.
this one, and then we'll get to that one, yeah.
Superb.
Very good.
Superb.
I will think of it in a minute. I'm drawing a blank now.
I'll have to research Little Bear.
Little Bear. His son, he called his son Little Bear, and at the time he came in, the song was like #1 on the charts. Terrible. I know. Moving on.
We'll come back.
We're
to that
moving
one.
on.
Yeah. It'll pop in your head probably later tonight.
Daryl Worley came
yeah.
in several times. A very, very, very nice guy. Very down to earth. I talked to him several times about how do I become you, basically. And and he was very, very generous. Sat down and talked to me for a long period of time. Reba McEntire's backup singer, Linda.
Not Linda Evans. She was an actor.
Linda.
I know who you're talking about. Linda
Davis. Linda Davis.
And her daughter is with Lady A. Yeah.
Very nice lady. I got to talk to her for a few minutes. So people like that would just come in and eat, and I was their waiter and bartender, and they would just, I would get to talk to them, about music and stuff like that. Ultimately, Nashville turned out to be, for me, the worst experience of my life. And I say that in all its meaning. I was there for a little over a year, and I went flat broke, like completely. I was working so much just trying to make ends meet. I couldn't do anything musically. There was
so
nothing.
The New York experience was a lot better than Nashville.
Was amazing. Branson, New York, I made money. I had my own situation. I was on a stage doing something in front of people. Nashville, I'm like washing dishes and pouring beer and trying to make something happen musically. And I knew no one. I moved up there not knowing a soul. So I'm like, that's how it is. You got to go up there and you got to try. And I really thought that once I got up there, I would just be the next big thing. And when I got there, I realized how talented everyone is. You know, people that I worked with could sing just as good or better than me. Guys standing on the street corner that can play guitar like you would not believe. It's insane talent going on. And I'm like, how will I stand out from these guys? I'll never be able to do that.
Yeah.
The final straw for me, about a year in, I was driving my truck down the street, and I got pulled over. Apparently I ran a stop sign. I got pulled over. And unbeknownst to me, the female cop popped me with 8 different violations on my truck. At 8. Illegal tint, no seatbelt, expired inspection sticker, no insurance. Like, I had all the things at 22 years old that you can possibly have. And she literally towed my truck and made me walk back to my condo at the time. So it's about a mile walk from where I was. She's like, I cannot allow you to drive this truck home. My roommate at the time wasn't picking up, so I literally had to walk home. And it was on that walk.
They're tough in Nashville.
They are very tough cops in Nashville, I'll tell you that. On that walk home was a defining moment for me, because I called my mom and I'm like, this is it. I have no money. I have no money to pay these bills. I have nowhere I'm not doing anything musically. This is a year into me living there. I'm still a bartender. I'm not meeting anybody that can help me out any further. I'm coming home. Louisiana is my home, right? So I came back home, and the next thing for me was to start a band. I still wanted to do music. If I came back home and started my own band, my own music, my own following, maybe then Nashville would take notice. That was my thought.
Did you still want to go in that direction, though?
I still did. At that time, I still wanted to go in that direction.
Nashville didn't spoil you on that.
It didn't spoil me as far as music goes. It left a bad taste in my mouth as far as living there. It was just a very bad experience for me. And I know a lot of people have those really bad experiences, and a lot of people don't. Some people just go there and it just happens for them. It was just not that way for me. And I always felt bad about how I left Nashville, and I wrote a song about it, of course, called Broken Road. But it wasn't a learning experience. It just wasn't a great one. I knew then maybe I don't need Nashville. Maybe I can go home and start a band and create my own buzz, and then Nashville would want me instead of the opposite. And it was a long, hard road. Created my own band, started writing my own music again, and started recording stuff, and started, making videos, and it just kind of gradually started to happen for me here in Louisiana. And writing my own songs and putting on my own shows just made me happy, as opposed to in Branson, when I was singing other songs and doing a show, and I just, I love it. I love what I do. It's such a good time.
Your music, you have actually a hodgepodge of music when you're on stage.
Yes.
It's different.
Very eclectic.
Very eclectic. And you always try to change it up. Sometimes you're wearing a cowboy hat. Sometimes you have horns in the back of your band.
Yeah.
Now, when I saw that at Texas Club one night in Baton Rouge, Texas
brought horns in the Texas Club, yeah.
You had a horn section.
Yeah.
In your act, in your ensemble.
I grew up loving and enjoying all kinds of music. I love classic rock. I love swamp pop music. I love horn band music. I love country. I love rock and roll. There's just not a type of music that I'm just like, even rap to a certain extent. I love it all. And it's very fun for me to experience new things and step outside of my comfort zone. I don't have horns in my regular show. So I'm like, if I take my band and we learned 8 or 10 songs that have horns in them, that will be fun for people to see me in a different light and do things that I'm not normally comfortable with doing. And then I put on the cowboy hat and cowboy boots and tight jeans, which is not normally me. As I sit here in my earrings, it's just a different version of me. But it's a lot of fun for us to take and learn different songs and styles of doing things, and just put that out to people and see how they react to it,
You can't put the cart before the horse. That'd be like,
Hey guys, it was a pleasure serving you.
but we didn't even order yet.
Huh.
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no obligation inspection.
A beautiful roof every shingle time.
Bobby, goes in the front.
You jump around a lot on stage, okay?
I've burned a
Now,
few calories.
Do you, well, no,
I've burned
wait
a few
minute,
calories. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you tape up your ankles before you go on stage? Like a lot of football players do,
I
and some
should,
baseball
because
players?
sometimes everything hurts, you know. But that's I equate that to, if my muscles hurt, it's because I've used them. Right?
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. That's right.
Okay.
I try to leave it all on the stage if I can. I am not made to stand there and sing to you. I'm just not made that way.
Right.
And for George Strait, that works. That just works for him and Alan Jackson. That just doesn't work for me. I have to feel the music. I have to feel the energy from the crowd, and it's just a personal feeling. That's just the way I do things, and just try to keep the momentum going as long as I can.
You're talking about energy. Garth Brooks is one of your favorites.
Oh, probably my top favorite. Yeah.
Did you like him way back when, right when you first started saying to yourself, I think I might give this music thing a try?
I was probably, I want to say around 13, maybe 14 years old when he did his Central Park show with 1 million people that were watching, right? Garth Brooks live in Central Park. My mom and I watched that entire concert from start to finish. And I remember him, there was a specific moment that he was on stage singing a song. I think it was The Dance. And I'm like, I looked and they panned to the crowd, and there's literally 1 million people waving lighters. There's no cell phones at this time, kids, believe that or not, waving lighters in the air. And I'm just like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. He is literally sitting on a stool by himself with a piano playing in the background, and he is singing, and these 1 million people are just eating it up. I'm like, I want to do that. That is so cool. And again, music had been in my life. We, go to shows and sing with the family, but I hadn't really done anything musical until that point. So I started trying to play the guitar a little bit and try to work on, what I wanted to do. And I tell people that, and I have a song called Garth Kind of Night, because that was a defining moment for me as a musician moving forward, knowing that I really want to do something like that in that capacity. And still to this day, I think back on that moment, and it's a great time.
So you're writing songs, you're playing shows, recording albums, and you say to yourself, I think I might want to do a music video.
Yes.
And you got somebody very special to direct and produce that video.
The guy is amazing, and I talk about him a lot because I wouldn't be who I am today, and I know he's going to blush over there somewhere behind the camera. But I have to thank Kevin, because
Kevin White with Mach 10 Media
coming in to what I had going on at the time, I was just trying to figure out what was next. What do I do next? I have an album, I have a couple of songs. But what do you do next? The next logical step is a video, and I'd never done one before. So Kevin kind of took me under his wing, and Carly McCord, a good friend of ours, agreed to come in and shoot the video. It's called Tailgate Sunset. Kevin had amazing ideas on, this is the location we need to go. This is the time of day. It was very regiment. Like, we have to be here at 6:42, p.m. because the sun is going to be at the 7th quadrant, and we're going to look over here, and he's doing all this kind of stuff. But it was an amazing experience for me, and Kevin's done several of our videos, and just a great guy. And shooting videos are a lot of fun. They're very stressful. They're very stressful because everything needs to be right. The lighting, you have to sing along to the song. It's very, very stressful, but it is a really cool process once it's all finished and done. So I love videos.
So people can find them on YouTube.
Oh yes, YouTube. We have our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok. We have all the pages. YouTube is generally where people go to look for them, and you can pull them all up, and they're all listed. And it's a lot of fun. Love videos.
So getting more into your personal life.
Yeah.
A few years ago, you met someone.
Yeah, just a few.
Just a few. You met someone very special by the name of Lindsay.
Yes. Probably the greatest moment in my life. Her coming in was a complete game changer to not only what I do musically, but personally, obviously. So this year, this August, we'll celebrate our 17th year together. So she has literally been a part from before I was Chase Tyler, and helping create what is the Chase Tyler Band and our brand. And she has had her stamp on our music, the videos, every album she's been a part of. She's been there in the recording process, and to literally everything to do with all our social media stuff. I couldn't do it without her. Literally couldn't do it without her. Yes.
You have a beautiful daughter as well.
I do. My baby girl, Presley.
Presley. How old is she now?
She is 12, going on 24, 25.
Oh, watch out.
It's becoming a little bit of an issue, Austin, because she's gorgeous. And I have a problem with that. As long as she doesn't date musicians, she can do whatever she needs to do. Musicians are off the table. I refuse. And her big thing is, well, Mama married a musician. I'm like, okay, all right, you got me there, but it's different. All right, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's just different. So musicians are off the table. Right now she's into volleyball, so we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, that's my baby, our one and only, and super proud of her.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on. Did you do it? Hold on. Did you do it? Roof's up. Roof's up. Hold on. Roof's up? Roof's up. Roof's up. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
I want to ask you this question.
Sure.
And it's probably a hard question to answer. And it's an emotional one too.
Yeah.
Take us back a few years ago.
Yeah.
Firstborn.
Yeah.
Lyric.
Yes.
Tell us about Lyric.
Oh, man, what a process. That was such a bittersweet moment. We found out that Lindsay was pregnant was one of the happiest moments of my life, all the way up until she gave birth. I was actually at a show. Lindsay was 8.5 months along, so she was very big. Unfortunately, especially at that time, being a musician, you have to go work. There's not a whole lot of days you get off, right? So I was at a show and got the worst phone call of my life. The bar manager come running up to me as I'm on stage singing a song going, "Your wife is on the phone." And I knew instantly that's a major problem because she's at home. She's kind of bedridden at this point, 8.5 months along. She can't get up and do much.
Were you on the road or local?
We were local. I was in Gonzales and she was in Denham Springs. So it wasn't that far. And that's why I felt okay leaving her. She had help with, some friends of ours and were staying with her. So I felt comfortable leaving her. I felt she was okay. And, all I remember is her grandmother on the phone and Lindsay on the phone, basically like, "I'm headed to the hospital. You need to meet us there. There's a problem. They can't find a heartbeat." And man, it's like so many emotions run through your mind. I'm literally in a packed house bar room on stage singing to a bunch of people, and I'm listening to this go on, and literally your heart drops. Obviously, you hope everything. It's a
band
mistake.
still
The band is still played.
And then you have to go off stage and take this phone call.
I gave the bartender the phone back, and I just ran off stage. I never said a word to the rest of the band. They had no idea where I went. I didn't say anything. I just hit the door. And come to find out later, they had no idea. They thought I was sick or something and had to go outside, and they kept the show going. I found out later. I didn't realize, but we had another hour to play, so they just kept playing. I went to the hospital as fast as I can, and ultimately, by the time I got there, the doctor was in the room, and Lindsay's grandmother and family were around her, and I kind of knew at that point what was going on. The doctor officially came in and told us there's no heartbeat. There's it's called an abruption, a placenta abruption. I had no idea what that was at the time. They explained it to us, and through many tears and we I don't know, Austin, we got through it. That wasn't even the worst part. The funeral after that was the worst, because at that far along, you still have to have a funeral. So Lindsay had to end up going into labor and had to give birth, knowing that she was stillborn. And man, that was a game changer. That was a whole different, going from musician to father to husband to, trying to be support, and you not wanting to break down, being support for your wife and all the family around you. And the funeral was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life. And that was a very tough time. But we have an angel baby, Lyric. So we actually gave Presley Lyric's middle name. So it's Presley Lyric Noto. And just as an homage, some way to pay respects. And we never forget about her. We think about her often. She would be 14 now.
14. Wow. Well,
So, yeah.
the good Lord gave you
That's right.
a beautiful daughter right now.
That's right.
She's playing volleyball
That's
and
right.
hopefully not
That's right.
dating a musician in the future.
Hopefully. That's all I can pray for at this point, is no musicians. Only because I know how I was as an early musician before I met Lindsay, and it was not nice. Things happen. So just no musicians. That's all I ask.
If someone wanted to reach out to you on social networking, social media, whatever they want to call it these days, how do they do that?
ChaseTylerBandLA.com.
Very simple.
Very simple. We have all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, anything you can find us on. We have it out there. I promise you.
Well, I appreciate you inviting us here.
Yes,
Casa
thank
Maria,
y'all so much. I
and
appreciate
talking.
it. It's been
And we have a whole bunch of other folks that we're going to be talking to as well. Chase, thanks for talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
I am Austin James for Austin James Unleashed. Please like, share, subscribe, call your friends and neighbors. Tell them about the show. We'd appreciate it. It's brought to you by Go Roof. I am Austin James for Austin James Unleashed. We'll see you soon.